Grab a cuppa, get comfortable, and let's dive straight in. Welcome to BPD Raw on the Couch. Now I'm excited to introduce my next guest, James Earl Hollywood III. Now he is a global executive, leader, scholar practitioner, and founder who brings a rare blend of public advocacy, system strategy, and personally lived experience with BPD. Dedicated to reducing mental health stigma, he bridges high-level community leadership with real internal work of healing and growth. Welcome, James. Tell us who you are and why you agreed to have this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.
No
I can
problem.
only speak from my experience, but I don't want my experience to become a stereotype for everyone living with PPD. Okay, so about myself, my name is James Earl Hollywood III, and I'm a leader and educator, entrepreneur, a minister, and the founder of Together for You and an app called Havy. Beyond these titles, I'm someone who has lived with anxiety and depression my whole entire life until recently, over the past few years, uh, coming to the realization that I needed to face the challenges that of the trauma that I had to face as a young person, and work extensively in the mental health space alone in many different leadership roles, from the state, international, and international level on task force and boards and policy and different things like that. So I agree to this conversation because we need to have more of an honest conversation that makes room for everyone and their experiences without stigmatizing anyone. So I come from a very, I would say, a small family in a way. I saw mental health in my community, and I saw mental health in my own family. I seen the absence of full households and the disruptions, and it stirred my passion as a young person to want to continue to make a difference in this space. And so I would say that about myself is that I'm a humble, lived experience servant in this space because I've seen the goods and the bads of the ends of this topic.
Yeah. So you said you've lived with someone with BPD. What was that like for you?
Living with someone with BPD is not just only one time. It was there's a book that is called Walking on Eggshells, and I don't want to. I want to tread that lightly, is because I believe it's important that we have a topic of a discussion of truth and honesty. That there's a lot of individuals today that have challenges with BPD and it goes unrecognized, and we see the data that supports that, and it's just now becoming something where individuals are still silent about it, but in a way it's still a topic that's still surfacing, just like the topic of mental health and mental illnesses. And so living with someone with BPD, it was challenging dealing with the emotional regulations, dealing with the instability. It even had have the effects to even affect you personally because you have to be able to adapt as like a chameleon dragon per se, because of what is being present and being challenged with what you living with on the day to day. Like I said, it's not just one single individual I have seen. I have experienced. I have even worked with individuals in the workplace that have had BPD, and so it's definitely a little challenging. But I think it's need to be a topic that we really need to be having more conversations about.
Yeah. What would you say was the most challenging you had, the most challenging trait you had to deal with?
Ooh, one of the most challenging traits that I had to deal with was when there's moments when there's silent treatments, is what we call it. Those moments when the other person is having challenges where they may be depressed or in a moment where they may be saddened or something that have may trigger them, and it causes them go into a more of a protective mode, and the other person is pushed out on the outside where there's no communication. And when you do try to go in with the communication or whatever, it becomes a little bit more challenging. And so, me being a communicator and always trying to work through problems, and as I've seen throughout my practice in the work field and throughout the community, that 98% of the problems of conflict is due to communication. And if you can't communicate with somebody properly, you down to have challenges and issues. And so that is one of the most foundation principle things that has been one of the most challenging parts of dealing with BPD.
So you're basically talking about the splitting episode when suddenly someone would be nice and then suddenly turn on you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. That look, I have an interesting turn on that. We talk about accountability, but when it comes to splitting, especially, well, everyone I know, it's like a knee-jerk reaction. It's not necessarily something you've done or something you've said. It could be something in our well, I'm sorry, I'll take that back. It may be something you said or shown or a memory that's been unlocked in our childhood trauma. It's just like instant. And so many people talk about accountability, but in the wrong way, like attacking us that we're a monster. It's not something that we have immediate control out of. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's definitely true. In a way, when you look at it from that way, that the accountability is not the attack on the other person, and it's definitely interesting in how you say that, because I think that is like one of those stigma conversations where I said where we need to have more conversations about in in many different spaces and communities about what the other person intentions are and how they feel, because all you are able to react is on the physical side of what the other person is putting out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, look, I would understand. Like, to be honest, I've never actually been with someone with BPD that's had a split in front of me. And though I know what I would want the person to say to me, I don't know what I would say in that. So I get it. I get it because I know some of the stuff that's come out of my mouth and I go, oh my God, did I really say that? But
Yes.
in all honesty, with my splitting, it's been someone has actually attacked me in a
Yeah.
way. They have actually attacked me, and it's like, and I hate the word normal, a normal person would say this, but someone who has heightened would say this.
Yeah.
So, in a way, I think some people would be jealous of the fact that I can say that and they can't. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's hard. It's a little bit difficult because you don't know what to say at times, because in the heat of the moment, I think that may be the worst time to have that conversation. I think it need to go back down a little bit. The temperature needs to go down just a little, and then so when that goes down a little, then you're able to cool down yourself, and then there's a reasonable conversation that can happen. And so my
Yeah.
experiences of working with people and living with people with BPD, um, there's times where I want to be able to solve the problem, especially with my masculinity, um, and it didn't necessarily work because the other person felt attacked when I was holding them accountable to things that I know that was right.
Yeah.
That's what I
Because
know was right. But then after I had conversations, when things cooled down, I can understand the other side of the point of view.
though I though I think it's a superpower how we feel things so deeply,
Yeah.
that turns against us because if we split, yes, we feel guilty afterwards, but our guilt is unimaginable. So then we try to fix it, and because we've got so much, oh, we've got to fix it now,
Yeah.
it can make it worse.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's
Yes.
like in some ways you can't win, but I have met people along my journey that are willing to understand that live
Yeah.
it because as we talked into the green room in younger years people communicated, people had time for people, and
Yeah.
it was easy to deal with. But as the world gets into AI and stuff like that, people aren't talking anymore, people aren't
Yes.
taking time to listen to people, and it's just turning it on its head. So this
Yes.
is why conversations like this need to happen.
Yes, 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 and that's actually a sad part for humanity, where there's we have so many different channels and avenues to have conversations and communications. Even living with someone in the same household or working with somebody in the same work building, and you still won't talk to them. It's still and
Anyway,
we
we've talked a lot about Big PG, but can you tell me about your own mental health journey?
Yes. So my own mental health journey. I think before we start my own mental health journey, I think it's important to understand where I came from in life. I was raised by my grandmother, my mother's mother, all the way up until the age of 7 years old, and I moved in with my mother, and I witnessed my mother battle through postpartum depression, and that was the time where I was the oldest of the household, had to step up and was challenged to take care of home and take care of my brothers and my mom, who was sick at the time. And so, growing up early and experiencing trauma, not having a dad at the house, and seeing a lot of things and experiencing a lot of things, poverty. Mom raised three boys off of $200 a month. We wasn't getting no food assistance or anything like that, so it was really challenging. And us experiencing many different things like that caused a lot of awareness inside of myself, a lot of anxiety about like where the next meal is going to be. Is the power going to get cut off? How much money I got to make today to make sure this get paid, and different things like that. So those things triple effect and multiplied throughout my life as I got older and older and older and older. And that's when it really came into anxiety, and then anxiety turned into panic attacks. And then the panic attacks, then there was also a mixture of different periods in my life when I had experienced different things that I really couldn't speak about. I just, because mental health and counseling and therapy was very limited as a young person. And as I got older, so we really didn't talk about mental health a lot. And, and so I was depressed and sought help for the very first time when I entered college after playing football. And at that time, that's where I was introduced to counseling. And mental health changed my life. I started a healing journey since college, all the way up until now. And now I'm at a period now where I'm at the best. I feel the best of my life because of the team that I have around me, the counselors, the therapists, and the psychiatrists, and my doctors and physicians.
So you're also, I haven't got that information in front of me. You're a founder. What work have you done in the field?
So the work I have done in the field, I have in mental health. I serve on a global mental health task force, and we are tasked with breaking the stigma and reducing the stigma and creating group support around the entire world for those that's facing with mental health and challenges. Um, I'm the former deputy director at the National Alliance for Mental Illnesses, NAMI Maryland, which is the largest grassroots organization for mental health in this country, and so we fight hard for outreach, advocacy, and policies. And so we also offer education and peer support in the communities that support local individuals that need that support. So throughout my tenure as it pertains to mental health, I have worked on global things with the United Nations, providing more funding with the World Bank to initiatives to eradicating poverty and non-communicable diseases and mental health. I have had keynote speaking engagements at the United Nations. Got one this upcoming week as it pertains to mental health and mental illnesses, and just continue to tell my story. I know I was very short with my story here on this podcast on BPD Raw, but just continue to share my story and continue to share the work around what's going to be supported of individuals that have challenges with mental health and mental illnesses. And one of the most fundamental keys is relationships and communications.
Yeah, communication is one of the biggest things. Let's get it back a little bit around BPD. So, what would you say was the So, you don't have BPD, but you must have been listening to the outside world. What, by meeting someone who had BPD, what did you think in the beginning, and how did it change your thoughts to now?
So it's it's a little complicated, and there's moments of love, there's moments of connection, there's moments of joy, and there's moments of genuine partnerships, and then there's emotional difficulty periods. And so at the very beginning, even even in it, it's just ebbs and flows. It just ebbs and flows. It's not like it started out. It started out really really good, and then it gets the ebbs and flows, and then at the end it ends just like a heartbeat.
Yeah. So what do you think are the biggest misconceptions?
I think the biggest misconception is what we spoke about earlier today was the compassion and empathy to understand what the other person is saying, really what they not saying out their mouth, but what they really are saying, and it's they screaming for help and support, and so that is one of the things that I leaned in and continue to lean in many relationships when it pertains to individuals with BPD is to learning how to support them and being able to recognize the signs and being able to still play a part, being able to support them from a distance, and also educating myself in a way to understand how to cope for one, and also how to support.
What do people misunderstand about loving or supporting someone with BPD?
What they misunderstand, we all people, that we all coexistent. We all have boundaries. We all have compassion. We all have empathy. Just because someone is different than you are, doesn't mean that you can't understand them. It's just that it's going to take a little bit more time and effort instead of just giving up on them.
Yeah, because the way I look at it is, if you want something good, you have to work for it anyway.
Yep.
And if you want something great with someone with BPD, if you can get past all that, as you know, we feel deeper, and our love is unfathomable. If we get the right person on our side, so it's just about, you want it, work for it. We all work for things, but people give up on working for things these days. Divorce rates, everything. People just don't want to work for it. So it's like, don't whinge after, like complain after, oh, this didn't work. You didn't work for it. If you want something good, you have to work for it.
Yes.
And people just don't want to work for anything anymore.
But
Yep.
But
Always has a but.
there is a what to it, and that what is what did you learn from it? I believe we have to understand sometimes that it's not about it's not about we supposed to be with that person for the entire life. Some
Yeah,
people,
I get what you're saying.
some people are there just for a particular season. Some people are there supposed to be able to teach you, and so
Yes.
a lot of these relationships taught me a lot about myself or how I can be a better person, for one, and it also taught me. It showed me different shadows in myself that I needed to be able to heal from. So that's the but.
Okay, being a black man, is
Yeah,
there more stigma around mental health?
it is because we don't talk about it like that. No, we don't talk about it a lot in many different communities. One of the things we don't talk about in black communities is suicide, and we don't think it happens, but it happens. We don't talk about as a black man. We don't talk about a black man going seek help or going do some self care or going meditate as a
Yeah,
man in general. I mean, as if we look like a man, we really don't see a lot of. We talk about massages. I just got done speaking with someone today about a massage. She like, most guys won't go there because you have to unclothe in front of everybody. I said, I'm there for a massage.
well, that's something I didn't know because, of course, both our countries have, and I don't like to use the word black, a checkered past. I don't know whether you know about Australia with our Aboriginals, how we treated them. And I know there's bad stories about in America with black people. So yeah, it's. Do you know what happened in Australia with our Aboriginals?
No, educators.
Okay, so up until the 70s, the government took black children, or Aboriginal children, away from their families to breed out the Aboriginal. Yeah, so it's like, whoa. Yeah, so not being a black man, I don't know what struggles you have with the history. I think you understand what I'm getting at because yeah,
Yeah,
like we didn't actually, the government didn't even give an apology till about 10 years ago. So it
yeah,
was stopped in
yeah,
the 70s, but yeah, it was whole, and
yeah,
people don't hear that about Australia. Like I'm an Australian, but I'm not proud of my country.
yeah,
Not at all. It's like, but people don't. They say Australia's a lucky country. To me, and as you know, I've lived in different countries. Australia is probably one of the most racist, homophobic countries I've ever lived in.
wow, wow,
Yeah, and yeah, people. Yeah, and I've spoke to many Americans that never hear this about Australia, and I think it's like, what? Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah,
wow. What I will say is that we need to continue to have these conversations. We need to continue to educate, and we need to continue to heal because when we talk about the hate in this world, we talk about unhealedness. And in order for you to be able to become start healing, you have to first acknowledge that there's something that is keeping you from loving something.
yeah, exactly. So, James, what do you hope people take away from the conversation?
I hope people take away that we can empathy and listening, not only just listening with the two ears but the eyes too, and supporting your
Yeah,
loved ones. And if you see them having challenges, support them, try to get them some help, and be there for them. That's one thing that I'm hoping is because genuine partnerships and connection and love and joy is so much more better than hate and division.
exactly, exactly. Now, I finish on this interesting question. Now, at BPD Rule, we flip the script. Normally, people ask, what would you say to your younger self now? But I want, what would your younger self say to you now?
What will my younger self say to me now? My younger self would be proud of me and just tell me to keep on going.
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I'm just waiting for someone to cry on that question because it is a pretty deep question and I love to flick the script. But look, James, I thank you for joining me. It has been great.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
no matter where you're sitting, what you're surviving or how loud the storm gets today, remember you don't have to carry it in silence. You're real, you're human, and you're allowed to take up space just as you are. Thank you for sitting on the couch with us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Stop, stop, stop. There we go.